Hey guys, let me share with you a pen that I have recently added to my collection. That was one that I hadn't really planned on getting. It was just kind of a whim because I didn't even know this pen existed for quite a while. And then I saw it show up by an online seller in one of their promotions, and I said, all right, let's go check it out. So Faber-Castell. Faber-Castell's been around for a while, and for anybody first starting out in the fountain pen hobby, you're probably more familiar with one of their lower end pens, the Loom. And I picked up this just like anybody else would have. And it's a very different sort of pen compared to the Faber-Castell Hexo. That's what this is, H-E-X-O. So called because it is hexagonal. Now, it's not the first hexagonal metal pen on the market, and certainly there are other sellers or manufacturers who have them as well. You know, I was actually on the lookout for something different from Faber-Castell because they're always on my radar when I can find a decent pen. This has been a very reliable pen here, their Loom. And a lot of people don't particularly care for that grip on it. But it's been a reliable, smooth writer for me. And it's also very different in how it looks. But it's got the metal body, you know, the aluminum body here, and it's got a nice stiff clip. And the clip is not all that dissimilar, I guess, from that of the Hexo. Well, I went ahead and got the Hexo, and quite honestly, there were only 3 colors. I didn't really want the silver one. Couldn't really bring myself to purchase a rose one for myself, so I went ahead and got the all black one. And the retail price right now on these is about $40 on average. I have literally seen these as low as $33, $32.50, depending upon from whom you purchase them. But this for me was $40 plus shipping, and I added a few other things to my order to get over the $50 hump in order to get free shipping because some sellers are doing that. So I said, let's go ahead and give it a try. So this one here, Hexo 2019 fountain pen black. There you go. So wasn't really all that familiar with the Hexo until I saw it. So it says it's made in Slovenia. So you've got the hexagonal design, and you've got the taper down to a rounded end here at the end. And you've got a very convex finial on that cap, and it does have a Faber-Castell logo, it looks like, on there. And you've got a very utilitarian plain clip, but it's also very stiff. So it's very hard to lift up that particular clip. To me, it doesn't matter because I don't usually clip these into a pocket anyway. I always carry around a pen sleeve, or they sit on my desk. So here you've got the Faber-Castell logo that looks to be perhaps laser etched into the aluminum body. It's a slip cap, and you open it up, and it is a very different grip style compared to what you saw on the Loom. It is kind of a plastic. It does taper down with a little flare before you get to the nib. On this particular one, you've got that black coated nib, or enameled, or whatever they use for it on the nib. This one is a cartridge converter pen, and quite honestly, it did not come with a converter. It did come with a cartridge. When the pen arrived, it was in a case like this. So this is the retail packaging that you will find. So you've got a cardboard box, and it would sit right down in there. And let's open the thing up so you can see what it did have in it. It's not the easiest thing to get open, but you can see on the back, design Hexo black fountain pen medium quantity 1 Faber-Castell. When it arrives, it's sitting just like this in that blister pack, and in it you'll have a dummy cartridge, and this barrel will hold 2 standard international short cartridges, and it did have the cartridges sitting in there just like this together into that barrel. So I decided, well, do I really want to do that? Do I really want to go with That, or do I want to go ahead and put some ink in it? So just for grins, just to make sure that it still would take a standard international converter, I put in a Schmidt type standard international converter into this particular pen. Albeit you can use cartridges just fine. One of the things I do like about it is when you get to the point where you're getting to the barrel, it takes one last slip and click. Boop, just like that. And you know that once you hear that, you're in place. When you go to put the cap back on it, it's kind of hexagonal, and I don't know how well you can see it, but there is a pattern sort of in here that when you go to close, you're not going to close at an angle. You're always going to have the angle always, the flats line up. So you try to put it together here. Nope, it's going to, that little pattern on the inside is going to make sure that you line up when you go to close it. So it's always going to snap together, and you're going to get a flat all the way across. You're going to get the angles that are always going to line up. It's not going to line up here where you're going to have your logo always here at the clip, but it is going to ensure that you're going to have flat, flat, flat. So all your hexes or the hex sides are all going to line up when you go to close it up. So this is actually a surprisingly good pen. I knew coming from Faber-Castell because they've done some fantastic upper pens. They've got some really good lower end pens. I knew that this one was going to be a fairly decent writer, and I wanted to try and make sure that indeed it was. We've got the Faber-Castell Basic in the house as well, which is fairly similar to the Loom, but I'm not going to go dig that one out. But there are other pens in its class to which we can compare. So let's go ahead and get out a few here, and let's share them with you. Cross Bailey, which those are still around. You can see that it's, the Bailey is just a little bigger. It is pretty much statutory that you have to have a Pilot Metropolitan when you show off or you're doing comparison of pens. Why? Because they're ubiquitous. Just about everybody has a Pilot Metropolitan. Alright, so let's go ahead and throw this one in. This is a $20 pen or so. This is the Schaefer Pop that you would find with the Star Wars collection. And here's a TWSBI Eco, so you can get an idea of how those are. Now, if you're going to compare it to something similar in the marketplace as to its construction and its price range, I would say maybe you're going to be looking at maybe a Lamy All-Star. I'll be honest with you, I don't own a Lamy All-Star, and the reason why is because I've got several Lamy Safaris, and I didn't feel like buying one in an aluminum body just to say that I had a Lamy All-Star. But that's probably its biggest competition that I can see in terms of if you wanted a nice metal pen that was going to perform fairly well. So, let me show you all of the statistics on this particular pen, and then we will put nib to paper and show you what it's like. So how does a $40 Faber-Castell aluminum pen, the Hexo, actually perform? We're about to find out. Slip cap, like I showed you earlier, really easy. And when you go to post it, nice and secure. It's not going anywhere at all. And quite honestly, it doesn't backweight the pen so much that it throws off that particular balance. But if you like it unposted, it's actually long enough, in my opinion, in my mitts, that it would actually do fairly well. So just for the sake of argument, let's go ahead and leave that off. So a Faber-Castell Hexo. This one with a steel medium nib. Alright. I put into this thing some Monteverde black ash ink. This nib is very, very smooth. This is what I expected from Faber-Castell. I expected it to write every bit as well as my loom. One thing I will say, on my loom, this medium nib here is actually performs more like a broad nib. It's a very wide medium line that this one puts out. This also being a medium nib, however, it is actually more like a traditional medium that I'm used to with its performance, the width of the line. You're not going to use a pen like this necessarily for calligraphic effect or for wide lines, but you can get some line variation out of it, like I just showed you here. It can put down a very thick, dark line, and it can put a very wet line down. So this particular pen, do you want to use it reverse? No, not really. It's a very fine line. I don't know why anybody would even want to write with it reverse, so I don't know why people even bother showing it, but occasionally I get asked, well, how does it work in reverse? Well, there you go. But this particular pen, the Hexo, extremely smooth right out of the box. For $40 retail, you are going to get a very reliable, very smooth pen. This has worked the first time, every time. And I have been using this pen a lot over the past week. I have been carrying it with me. It has been in my pocket. What I like about it, it's going to be durable. You are going to have the aluminum body to it. It's not going to be crushed fairly easily, which is why some people like the All-Star, let's say, for Lamy over the Safari, but go figure. But this particular pen, rigid, it's nice, it's black, it's not over long. It can be a pocket pen. I like that this can be a knock-around pen you can just throw in your pocket, as well as put into a pen sleeve, carry with you, leave on your desk, chuck it around, drive over it with a car, whatever. It's going to be a fairly reliable pen. And with its performance at the $40 mark, the usual Faber-Castell quality that I've come to expect at a lower price, this is probably moved up into one of my under $50 favorites in that category. So the Faber-Castell Hexo, actually, a decent pen, decent writer, good quality, and at an affordable price.